All right. Welcome to the Mark Hope Show, everybody. This is your producer, Daniel Kelly, and I'm here with Mark Hope. We've got an exciting show for you tonight, and can't wait to get into it. I guess I got out of the camera, huh? Okay. Don't lean over.
What happened?
Hi. I leaned out of the shot.
Oh,
That's all
gotcha.
Right. We're good. Thomas Haynes is here, and we are ready to rock. All right.
It always takes me a minute to get my feed up. Also, anybody that's a regular show listener, especially people like Tom and our regular show people, if you want to start a watch party and share the show with your friends, we really appreciate that. That shares the live version of the show with your audience. So if you're ever sitting around talking about, hey, there's these guys that do this show that I listen to, that's how we spread the word. And just click on it and do a watch party. This is actually a filming of us making the Mark Hope Show podcast. And we do that live via Facebook, so you guys can join in and be part of the show. But then we edit the shows and put them on iTunes, and you can listen to them wherever you listen to your podcasts. Like and subscribe on YouTube videos, and we upload them there, right, Daniel?
That's right.
So what's the show about?
Well, tonight it's about the call-in guests. So I put the number up right away so you guys can call into the show. Phone number there is 720-507-1939. Give us a call. We talk about everything going on with you guys and your small businesses that you've started, your passions and your side hustles, and everything that you do to go from being a guy who gets a paycheck to a guy who is sort of in control of your own destiny.
A guy who writes the paycheck.
Or a girl. Or
a person.
Guys and girls.
A person that might write the paycheck.
It's not a guy-girl thing. Yeah.
Well, and I think it goes much further than just that. When you talk about small business, you're really talking about, American life. Because anymore, the things that you do to run a small business, the things that you do to be successful small business, are the things that you do to run a successful life. Like one of the classes that we offer over at Marketing Hope is your digital footprint. And what that class does is it shows, especially young people that are in high school, college, it's no longer here's a resume, here's a letter of 3 references. You have a whole digital footprint that you need to make sure is saying good things about you.
Right. Absolutely.
You've got your LinkedIn profile, you've got your social, you've got Instagram, you've got your Facebook. You've got sometimes even doing your own .com for a website for your name to specialize in what you're doing. And it's a good thing to learn how to flex that power of the connections that you have in your life and the contacts that you're working with, even as early as high school, because how do I get into a good college? How do I get into the fraternity or the sorority? Luann says the sound's coming in good. Hey, PJ, how's everything going down at K9 University? Texas K9 University.
K9 University, that's right.
You'll have to put a link up for them, will you? Mike Dukes, that's a good friend of mine right there. I'll have to talk to Mike about doing some business. He's a big internet sales guru and a good guy. But making sure that you have your digital facelift and the things that you need to do to attract those relationships. We teach a class about that. But we also talk about that kind of thing on the show. And we talk about, how to fix your credit, how to make sure that, you're working with your finances. Are you doing the right things with there's Brian Keith from Florida. That's a good guy right there. Are you doing the right things to get yourself set up before you go into business? Do you have your debts taken care of? Is your financial health going to support a business? Because a lot of times you invest everything into your business and then you smother it and kill it because you got to take too much money out of it and you can't reinvest into your business. So a lot of those, things that are really important to people in their lifestyle are things that we talk about.
Right.
You keep making faces over there. I wonder what's going on.
I got a lot going on over here. Just checking out, make everything's good.
Don't do one of these. That's the face.
Oh no!
I should have a wall up between you and me.
They generally do.
In the new studio that we're moving into in about a month, we should have a one thing where there's a window, and then the talent is in one side of the thing, and the production is another side of the thing, so where you can't see each other.
That is generally how we do things. If you'd like, I can get a book and put it right here for you, so that you can't.
Well, let's do a shout out. Speaking of studios, the Better Business Broker Services here in Denver is going to be a big sponsor of the studio and of the show.
Business Brokerage Services.
Business Brokerage Services, BBS.com.
Yeah.
And what they do is they buy and sell businesses, and Marketing Hope helps those businesses get shaped up before they go for sale, or helps those new owners of those businesses take that to the next level. And so we're really happy to be working with those guys, and they've been on the show a couple of times. And so that's some exciting studio news. Also got Action Computers as a big sponsor. They are always here for us, and really appreciate their contribution to the show over the years. Jeff Myers down there runs a great show.
So I jump in there. It's the Business Brokerage Services, DenverBBS.com. Don't go to BBS.com. It is not the same thing.
Denver BBS.
Denver BBS. I threw it in the chat there. DenverBBS.com. Good guys over there.
Look, if you want to buy or sell your business, call me, Mark Hope, or look me up. I will be your broker. I will buy or sell your business for you. And we'll get the professionals involved if there's anything needs to talk about phase 3 power or any of that kind of stuff on your buildings. We'll do a lot of that talk. But we love everything business. Real estate. I was talking to some guys about some real estate the other day, especially when we're talking about real estate as it pertains to where do you put your retained earnings as a family or a small business. I'm here to make sure that the small business guy or the family can thrive and become millionaires. It's not just for rich people. Take that money, invest it, and a lot of times they say, get your debt paid off, make sure you buy a family home, make sure that you get that paid off, invest in your 401ks, build that up. But the other thing that I always like to say is that every American, there's Bradley from Parker, that guy's into everything.
What's everything?
Oh, he sells cups and mugs, and he has a mug business, and that he does online.
That's
and
cool. Custom type things?
Right. Well, and he's also a consultant. I think he wanted some managed services done. You have to reach back out to him. But every American family should own a second home. A small rental house, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It's difficult in Denver. I realize Denver is a very hard thing to talk about, but this show goes coast to coast, and especially if you're in one of those areas where you can get a nice 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home for $100,000 or so, consider getting into that business, and that home should be paid off. And my reasoning for that is that if you're in a situation where you've got a terrible boss or an abusive work situation, or you've got somebody that, is just absolutely pushing the wrong buttons, saying the wrong things, being, sexually, coercive or downright rude, your wife or you or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever you're building your life with should not have to stay at a job just because we don't have options. And if the regular family has a rental home that's feeding money into the household, it's helping forward that financial security, but it's also giving you mental security because you could talk to your boss different.
Right.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't talk to me that way. I'm here doing a professional job and you're not allowed to talk to me that way. And if you have to quit your job, you have to quit your job. But when you quit your job, you need to go to HR on your way out and tell them why you quit. And then you probably get your job right back again. But being in that powerful position to be able to say, hey, you don't talk to me that way. And you could comfort your loved one and you say, hey, look, yeah, Bradley said it right here. Use rentals for income replacement.
Right.
But the peace of mind that you have in just saying, hey, we're not dealing with this anymore. This abusive situation, when the lease comes up, we're just going to move into the rental and we'll dump everything else and we'll live in that paid off rental. We'll regroup. Nobody has control of us. And it's like that old Roman saying that said, it's not that our friends help us, that give us comfort. It's the knowledge to know that they would,
right,
if we would need them to.
Right.
And that's really the same thing about us helping ourselves with these, eliminations of debt, living smaller so that things are more controllable, and making sure that, it's easier for us to deal with our finances by not leasing cars or buying boats or things like that until we have our bedrock of our foundation built up. And a lot of times people just don't know. They think they're doing the right thing. They're working really hard and let's get the jet skis and whatever. And then, they've got the second mortgage. They've got, the HELOC on their house. The credit cards get a little bit out of control. And then something happens. You get laid off from a job. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a shout out right now. I know a top-notch, great HR guy who I'm going to try to get to my office and actually do HR services on the side, a la carte consultant HR services through our consulting firm. But he is looking for another day gig because guess what? The company he was working for, they had financial problems. He got laid off.
Yeah.
And so, if you need a good HR guy who is trustworthy and comes with my very personal endorsement, can you help me?
What happened there?
Yeah, I lean forward. There you go. Definitely call me if you have my phone number. If you don't, message the show. You can get us on the Mark Hope Podcast show page on Facebook, the page group on Facebook, the email mark@marketinghope.com. And that goes for anyone that wants to reach out and needs questions or needs help from either Daniel or myself or any one of the experts that are in our office. Feel free to always post up on the podcast group page.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Ask us to call you back. But before I went off track with this HR guy that I'm dealing with, you never know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden now you're behind the eight ball.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to make sure and try and eliminate that debt. That's why we want to make it a burning fire within the household where everybody gets on board and pays down those debts and gets yourself a little bit further, away from the edge of the cliff. And then you add in these income producing properties later on when you get to that next level, because then money's coming in. And then all of a sudden somebody loses their job and it's like, hey, we've got this. We've been working hard. We've got this little side business, this little rental business that's coming in. It doesn't cost us a lot of time to manage it. But what's the key on that, Daniel?
Well, the trick is to have...
Who do we want to leave out of our rental equation?
Well, I want to leave the banker out.
We hate the banker.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything bad about my mortgage banking friends out there. Don't call me. But I love you guys. But the regular bankers, it's tough. It's tough. And especially if you're trying to do banking to support rental properties, the bank ends up taking most of the money for the first 10 or 15 years, and you're spinning your wheels. And let's face it, we're just not all living long enough to give the bank 15 years up front of what we're doing.
Right.
And so what I do at Hope for Homes is attract people that are like investors and people that are like-minded, people that want to get together and say, hey, look, I don't have $140,000 to just pay for a house, Mark.
Right.
I'm not there yet. And you will be. I promise you, if you listen to me long enough and you stay with me and do the things that I suggest long enough, I will brainwash you into becoming great. I will brainwash you into the self-confidence that you'll have to becoming a millionaire. And I've done it. The people around me have done it, and it's there's no magical thing. There's no trick to it. You just have to keep doing that ratchet step forward on a ratchet where it grabs. You get an inch forward, and it clicks into place. And then you've got that ratchet going forward. And so I hear you when you say, hey, look, Mark, I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that cash money to start up my real estate empire. And I get that. That's where we get into this fractional ownership. And what we do is we put 5 people with $40,000 together and a need and a desire to learn how to do the rental business. And then, those people, what's $40,000 times 5?
What's that?
200.
$200,000.
So we buy a $150,000 house, and then we've got $50,000 left over, and then everybody learns how to do the property management. They learn how to do
the marketing and
the marketing. They learn how to vet the renters. Yeah. They learn how to background check the renters. They learn how to set up the management of the company. Either get a management company like Hope for Homes to do it, or the principals that are involved
just do it
in the group end up doing it, and they learn from each other. Yeah. Like, for instance, if I went in it with 4 other people that didn't have the experience, I would maybe be the one that kind of taught everybody what I know. But then the next time, Daniel and Rebecca would be the ones that said, hey, last time we were on the the accounting and money team for the LLC on the last house that we got involved in. So let me show you how to set up the banking, and let me show you how to set up the payment, and let me show you how to do the background check, that kind of thing.
Well, it's always a situation where the younger ones or the less experienced ones are learning from the more experienced ones, and everybody gets better, right?
That's exactly right. And everybody gets to get a slice of the profits instead of the bank.
Right.
You got a $1,200 payment coming in every month, and the owner gets $300 and the bank gets $900. The only one that's winning is the bank.
Right.
If you've got a cooperative of 4 and 5 people and they're getting involved in this, then they're splitting up the bank's $900.
Yeah.
And they're learning how to do the business as they go along. So if you're interested in doing any of that kind of stuff, reach out to us. And there's an application process, and you have to be kind of somebody that we know at this stage, because we only hook up people with people that, know each other and are comfortable with each other. But we're doing a lot of out of Denver investing in different markets that are actually growing, not ones that have peaked. So if you buy a rental house in one of these markets that's growing, not only are you going to get the streams of income, but you're going to get equity growth, and you're going to get larger amounts of money later on coming in. And, I'd like to see families buy one of these, a fifth of one of these houses every 2 years, and that adds up. You're going to have a stream of income that I do need my wall, though.
Your wall?
I do.
Is it bothering you? Don't look at me.
You're so concentrated on what you're doing over there, it looks like you're reading a question.
No.
But anyways.
Here's a question, though. PJ jumps in. Says, what areas are you looking for? What areas are you looking besides Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City is one of the areas that we do look at. But it's specific zip codes in different areas that have the highest growth. In addition to that, that's really the knowledge base and intellectual property of Hope for Homes. That's not something that we're gonna just release on the show.
Broadcast that to Facebook Live? No.
Our partners and people that are in the program with us get to know that kind of thing, but the research that's gone into that is pretty big. And are we bumping up against the top of the hour, Daniel?
It is, right at 7. So we are ready. We're ready whenever you are.
Yeah, you just go ahead and get him on the line.
He is ready. I'm going to just read that one.
But anyways, that's a fractional ownership deal. And PJ, you can call me anytime you want. You know that. But, and if you're wondering who I'm talking to, if you're listening to this podcast, we tape the show live on Facebook Live. And what that does is it provides an audience to answer questions and ask questions and that kind of thing. And so if you seems like I'm talking to somebody that you can't see on the iTunes podcast or the Google Play podcast or the YouTube or whatever, that's what's going on. And so don't think I'm going crazy. I am, but.
All right, here we go. We're gonna get Jeremy on, our special guest.
This is a very interesting story. This is a very interesting story, and this is gonna be a neat deal.
All right, we're gonna get started.
Do I need to do my headphones?
Yeah, you're gonna need your headphones. For you guys out there watching, we are making a call all the way across down to Columbia, and we're gonna see if we can make this work. So, here we go. Hopefully.
All right, just to set this up,
all right.
Jeremy and I have been long friends for a long time, and he is a really, really neat guy. He is somebody that I met playing poker.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Hey, we're on.
You're on the Mark Hope Show. Normally I ask people in the green room before the show some questions just to kind of set the show up. I didn't get an opportunity to call you before the show, but I do want to ask this one question of you, especially since you and I have such a deep relationship. I want to ask you, is there anything that you don't want to talk about or any subjects that you don't want to talk about during the interview on the show? I like that. I like it. Well, let's introduce the audience to who you are. And let's kind of walk them through, some of the things that happened to you when you were a younger guy and what that has kind of shaped your life going forward. So you want to tell them about the rock climbing accident? Chris, here, just a second, Jeremy.
Yeah, he said that, but he's coming up on the levels just fine. You guys can't hear him, huh? Oh.
Just a second, Jeremy. We're
Let's
trying
get
we're
this
trying to cure the technical difficulty here.
Okay, let's give that another try there.
Jeremy, can you do a sound check here?
Yeah. What do you need? Sound check. Check, check. 1, 2.
That
Can somebody in the audience tell
Yeah,
us
is that better?
if we're hearing Jeremy now?
looks better on the levels.
Lou, you want to type in there for us whether you can hear Jeremy or not?
Just remember there's a delay. These guys are about 10 seconds behind. Okay.
Let me make sure my mobile data is off and then I'm on my Wi-Fi in my house here.
Well, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah, Mike said it's
Better.
okay. They're saying we hear us.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're back up. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. So tell us your
Okay.
story again. Sorry about that, Jeremy.
No problem. So, 17, rock climbing, alone, fell, broke my neck, spinal cord injury, and I'm wheelchair bound with very limited mobility in my hands and arms. So it's a lot of activities are difficult or impossible for me. I don't know. You'd have to see me to fully understand, I suppose.
You use one of those little joysticks or whatever on your wheelchair that motor around.
On my
it.
wheelchair, yeah, I have a power wheelchair and yeah, a little joystick.
And so, to move to the next kind of part of the story, we met playing poker. You and
Right.
I. And
I was. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was in a rehab hospital after my injury, and the patients started playing poker on Sundays. And we laid around watching the 2004 World Series of Poker, and we played every Sunday. I was in the hospital for a few months, and I just never quit playing. I drove up to Denver in the snow at night on the third Friday of the month to play with Mark Hope.
And that was with the Poker School Club, pokerschoolclub.com. Back in those days, there was no poker in Denver. There was Blackhawk, but it was a $5 limit. So if you wanted to learn how to play poker in the World Series format of poker, no limit hold'em, we had to make our own club. We made our own tables, and at one time and this was, I think, when you joined the club, Jeremy, we had the game in a big mansion in Cherry Hills.
Yep.
And that was
a great venue.
that was a wild game too, and all the guys were really super nice. And you'd come up, and you had two wheelchairs, one your powered one, and then you had your littler one. And all the guys would go up because the game was in the basement of this mansion, and they'd grab Jeremy, and you would come down and play. When they'd carry you down the stairs and carry you back up the stairs after you were ready to come home, and it was in the snow sometimes.
Funny story. I changed countries and cities. I'm in Medellin, Colombia, and I'm doing the same thing here. I got invited to a home game, but they carried me up to the roof of the building on a penthouse. And,
that is awesome.
In my power chair. We're talking
Oh
500
my
pounds
God.
here. Sorry, I'm a little distracted here. My girlfriend's walking by.
All right.
Understandable.
You sent me a picture of her. I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, she's pretty good looking.
She is very good looking.
Anyway, so I really didn't even want to go to this game because it's dangerous, honestly, moving this thing around. It's awkward and very heavy. But these guys insisted, and obviously I wanted to play, so I went a couple times, and then after that, I haven't. I've gone up and sat in just an office chair because I didn't bring my manual chair with me down here.
Gotcha. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So you're playing in that game, and then you were playing up in Blackhawk,
Yep.
and you won a huge table share of a bad beat jackpot up there.
Yep. And thus began my exodus from Colorado.
So you come to me and
Uh,
you say, Uncle Mark, I think I'm going to become a professional poker player, and I'm going to move to Las Vegas. To which
I
I
had,
begged you not to do that.
yeah, what a terrible idea. It's too bad I don't listen to anyone.
You're not the only one
But
that doesn't listen to me, brother. You're not the only family member that doesn't listen to me. I'm telling you. But talk about stones. You took the money and then you got a condo that is
right.
close enough to the Bellagio poker room that you could ride your chair on the
Yep.
streets to the game. And you're
Yep.
actually making a living as a medium stakes limit poker grinder who's going back and forth to the Bellagio every day.
Yep. I definitely played at Bellagio a fair amount, but the majority of my time I played other casinos. But I mixed it up. I honestly I played regularly in almost every Las Vegas Strip casino.
And Daniel, can you get that phone number out again? If anybody wants to
Oh
call
yeah.
in and ask Jeremy a question, because this is an exciting story,
Right.
definitely feel free to call in.
It's on the screen here. It is 720-507-1939. I'm not sure if we can connect the two together, but we can certainly try it. We can all talk to each other. I'm not sure if they can talk to each other, but we'll give it a try.
Okay.
Somebody want to be an enterprising...
No, just if somebody has a question, you can
Yeah.
put it in the notes. You can ask a question in the show feed,
Sure.
or you could try to call in. But Jeremy, now you're playing poker in Vegas, and I come
Right.
and visit you regularly. And one of the times you told me, that it wore thin. You told me one time, you said, Uncle Mark, I never smile. And I'll never forget
Oh
this.
man.
I'll never forget this my whole life. You said I never smile because when I'm riding my wheelchair to the casino, I can't really smile because people try to take advantage of you on the streets or whatever. And then when you get in the game, you're playing people for money, and so you really can't smile there either. So it took its toll on you a little bit emotionally doing that job, right?
It definitely does. I don't, just because you can make money doing something doesn't mean it's going to be very fulfilling.
Right.
And while you can certainly make money playing poker, and one could argue that, you're providing entertainment or something like that, that you're providing value to someone, really, you're just taking the money that was already worked for. You're robbing someone else. For me to succeed, someone else must fail.
Right.
My happiness comes from others suffering, and it's
It
I
gets
don't like
it gets
I like
tough.
to be competitive. I like to win, but I don't like to destroy someone else in the process.
But you
That's really
really
not.
you really have to in that job. You just really
Yeah.
have to be cutthroat. And a lot of the poker players that I know and I know of, they're not good people. Just because it's
Yeah.
molded them that way. There's a lot of good poker players out there, and don't get me wrong, but there are some that just kind of rots them on the inside because of what you got to do day in and day out. You're
Right.
taking somebody's rent money for your rent money, and that's a great way to say that.
Yep.
So, after years and years and years, and you had a good long run, and despite me telling you not to do it, you went and did it successfully, and the condo that you bought went up in price, which was awesome, and you
Yep.
sold that, and you traveled around a little bit, and then your next thing that I didn't even bother to tell you not to do because I know I can't stop you from doing it. You moved to Colombia.
Yep.
That
It's
is
very hard.
unbelievable.
It's very hard for someone in my position to improve my position.
Right?
So for instance, I need doctors and caregivers and medications. And if you're in the US and you don't have a business or you don't make much money, then they will take care of you. But, I'd like to have family and some level of comfort. And, there really aren't a lot of people that are going to want to sign on for a family with someone who's, financially handicapped. Um, the other handicap doesn't bother me so much, but the fact that I had no real opportunity to go into business for myself, or, I would have been working side jobs, have a business of my own. I would have done a lot of things, but because I was afraid to lose the benefits that I had, I kept doing what was getting me by.
Gotcha. And Jeremy, I think a lot of people are stuck in that rut. They're not
Right.
they're not as challenged as you are with what you have to deal with, but they're afraid to let go of one thing to grab hold of another thing. And I got to tell you, that's a lot of courage on your part to make that move.
The unknown is certainly a scary thing, but um, you know, I I had to do something. So I left Colorado for Vegas. That didn't go as I planned. I paid my bills and I had some fun, but really I was hoping to come into some sort of, wealth, which I didn't do. So I'm trying again. This is Vegas 2.0.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. And I just so everybody knows, I am a very, very large, you know, cheerleader and fan of Jeremy. Jeremy is, as you could tell from this interview, a great guy with lots of hopes and dreams and very, very, very little give a crap about the blockages and the blockades in life, and you're rolling right through them. So what I'd like to do for this audience is I'd like to just put it out there to everybody. Please start coming up with business ideas that you think that my friend Jeremy can help us with, and how things that maybe being in Colombia, maybe there's things that American businesses on this side can interface with Jeremy. And I don't know what those things are. I'm just kind of spitballing at the conference table right now with everybody that's listening to this show, and saying, hey, let's help this guy out. If you're an importer, exporter, or you're somebody that deals with a business that could use the labor that's available over in Colombia, if they could come up with some way that Jeremy can arrange trips to Colombia, or who knows what different things that we can come up with. But with this audience and the great people that are involved, I'd really like to have somebody reach out and think of some things that somebody in Jeremy's position with a great mind and a great talents and abilities. I mean, you should see this kid at the poker table. Everybody is afraid to call his bluff because they don't believe that he could bluff. He's in a wheelchair, the guy next to him. Every time I ever played poker with him, the person to his right was organizing his chips. And somebody that makes a friend with every single person that he plays poker with, that is helping him stack his chips, that is a guy, who I respect. And that is somebody that can do something for your business. So if you have a business and you could use somebody like Jeremy, I want you to reach out, contact me. I will definitely get you in touch with Jeremy. But this is a guy that we want to invest in because he's a good guy, and I want to see what we can do to help him. And Jeremy,
I'd like to say this too, Mark. I honestly, poker used to be my hobby, and at this point, my only hobby is analyzing small businesses and how effective they are. So if anyone needs their business looked over, if you're not operating at 100% capacity, you could easily improve, and I'd be more than happy to review or brainstorm new ideas.
that's
I do
awesome.
it for fun all the time, and I could do it for someone listening.
Well, and that's what we say on the show all the time. Those things that you're passionate about become those side gigs that become your part-time job, that become your full-time job, that become your life's work. So Jeremy, as your uncle and somebody who loves you, you know, I really love to hear that you're going to play poker for fun and you're going to get into the business world and do that for your work. And I love that. And life coaching and, you know, giving some, you know, advice to people and telling your story to them. I think there's a fit there for corporate America to have somebody like you even do telephone conferencing calls or whatever you can do to help these people with these businesses. I'm all about it. And you know that I'm a fan. So, you know, however I can facilitate any of that, I'm very interested in doing that. So anybody that wants to call me and they want to access the talents of Jeremy in Colombia. Now, it's gotten a lot safer down there over the years.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot safer. And there was a time where it was the most dangerous city in the world as far as at least documented crimes.
Wow.
So arguably the most dangerous city in the world. But not a lot of people argue that there was somewhere more dangerous. But things have definitely been turning around here, and there's a lot of that perception still that it's dangerous. But to be honest, I don't see it.
Well, I was
certainly their income is 10% of what it is in the U.S. And if someone comes here, if you're not holding on to it, then someone could grab it and be gone in an instant. But I think the majority of the people here are good-natured and, you know, it's not terribly dangerous, but, you know, they have something to gain, you have something to lose, so you got to be a little careful.
Well, and I was reading that most dangerous city in the world before, but now is lauded as one of the most innovative.
Yeah, they've definitely been working hard to become better. It was between here and Thailand for me. I was looking for places that had affordable health care and care in general. Because if I'm going to make it on my own without the assistance of Medicaid, I'm going to have to be able to afford to pay my caregivers and my doctors and pay for my medications while I'm getting things going. So it's much, much, much more affordable here.
Yeah, and what I'm reading says that the crime rate has dropped to under 20 per 100,000, and going by that statistic, where you live is twice as safe as New Orleans.
Huh.
So, I think you made a nice choice, and you're in a good place to go forward.
Yeah, I'm loving it here.
All right, buddy.
That's
well.
Awesome.
Listen, I'd like to start putting some things together, and I'd like to start getting some little business things together for you, so you can start building up your bedrock. Maybe what we can do is kind of do another call in as part of another show in another month or two. Then we can kind of tell some of the people what we're working on and just kind of build it up from there. And I'll reach out to some of my brand ambassadors and some of the things that I'm doing with my connections with the adaptive community, and maybe there's some other things that we can do to help out there. So anybody that's involved in the adaptive community, please reach out to me. Anybody that's involved in the small business community where you can see a relationship, let's talk in about a month or two, and we'll tell them all what we're doing. Huh, Jeremy?
Sounds great.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, you be as much as I know you won't listen to this, please be careful. Try and be as safe as you possibly can. And I love you. And I just want to tell you that it was, you know, it's just a pleasure to watch you doing what you're doing. And I want to walk with you till we get a bunch of success going. So thanks for being on the show, and stay in touch.
Love you. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right.
Take care, Jeremy.
Bye-bye. All right. Take care.
So how about that?
How about that?
What a brave guy. I mean, he's a good-looking kid. I don't want to say this while he was on the line, but you know, if you see a picture of this guy, he is just a great-looking kid, and he does have a beautiful girlfriend down there in Colombia.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And this guy, life just threw him a curveball. And let me tell you, I mean,
It hasn't slowed him down at all. I mean, I played poker with him enough to be afraid of him at the table, and he's just the nicest guy too.
He is. He's a great personality, and you know, his arms don't work just right because the palsy goes all the way up to his chest. And but I mean, I played poker with that guy in the Bellagio and the Aria, and you know, everyone in the room loves the guy. And, you know, it's a really, really kind of a sad commentary. Jay Allen, life is throwing lots of curveballs today.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Jay Allen. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the show, but I'm going to find you an HR job that you won't believe, even if it's working for me. We'll get together next Friday, like I said, and we're going to make that happen too. But
I try to remember to swing. It's Frank.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means. What does that mean?
Frank is a poker player, and you know, he has had his share of health issues, and I'm not going to tell anybody's story, but that's a brave cat right there. Yeah. I mean, he has, you know, really been rocked by things of his own, and you know, he's taking care of others. He's taking care of his niece, and he's a good guy too. And you know, I find that the world is full of good people, and if you are one of them, they attract around you, and you know, that's the thing that I think is the very best advice that I would give to anybody is, you know, keep trying and never quit. Try to be positive. And that Jeremy, you know, he is so positive. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that came from. But I mean, he's in that wheelchair, and he took himself down to Colombia. His little sister took him down there. And I said it was a sad commentary. I mean, this kid, he didn't have time enough to work, so he didn't get any benefits here, really.
Right.
He got Medicaid, but he didn't get a check for, you know, support or whatever. I mean, so many people are taking from this system, and then there's a really neat kid like this that should be getting supported with more. He should be getting some money. He's not getting it because he didn't put it into the system. It just doesn't seem right. No, you know, and I'm not going to get off onto a tangent about that, but I mean, he's had to figure some things out for himself, you know, without a lot. And just imagine, you can't use your arms and legs and then try to make something happen.
Right.
You know, and when you're sitting around feeling like, oh, woe is me, I don't have a chance to make anything happen. I can't, you know, it's hard. Yeah, hard. Try doing it with no arms and legs. Yeah. You know, and that kid, you know, we're going to find something for him to do, and he's going to have a good life, that kid. And maybe I'll show some pictures next month of times that I've been partying with Jeremy. That kid, he will show you how to live a life. For sure. Yeah. Oh, I bet. I believe it. Well, I'm not sure what the dinging is, but I don't know if anybody else can hear it. Just I can hear it. Yeah. I don't know.
I'd love to hear from someone else too, guys. I mean, call in. We're here. Phone number is 720-507-1939. Should be. Go ahead. I'm gonna just check something real quick. I'm gonna check on something. Keep talking.
You're going to check out something?
I'm going to check on something.
Hey, I'll take this opportunity to... I just cannot tell you guys how much Daniel does for this show. I mean, this equipment, you can't see what's happening behind the scenes, but the equipment that he's using that runs this whole radio station out of this studio is unbelievable. And it's run...
And now we got somebody calling. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's Jay Allen calling. All right, let's even get him on here.
Call from Jay Allen. To accept, press 1. To send...
Okay. All
Jay
right.
Allen.
Jay Allen. Are you there?
Welcome to the Mark Hope Show, buddy.
It's great to be here.
Hold on. Let's make sure that the folks can hear you here. We're going to make sure this all works. Go ahead and say something for us.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, that looks good. I think they should be able to.
Yeah, if you guys can't hear him, let us know. We've got a
yeah.
caller on, so if you can only hear me and you can't hear Jay, let us know. But you are, can I tell?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
You, through no fault of your own, have found yourself to be unemployed.
Yes, it's been that kind of a Monday. My boss reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and told me they were adding another headcount to our team in Arizona, and it was my same position. And she said, "I don't want you to worry. We're not replacing you. But before we open this, I wanted to give you an opportunity to transfer here if you wanted to. And we're adding another person regardless." And I said, "No, I'm happy in Denver." She's like, "Great, perfect. We're probably going to give you the Colorado region to run on your own pretty soon." And then she called me today and said, "Hey, bad news, we're laying you off. I've known for about a week and a half, and this will be your last week with us."
That's awful.
That is just terrible.
So here we are.
And that's what I hate about corporate America. And I'm not going to tell my story here on the show tonight, but I was involved in corporate America, and it was just crap like that made me leave. Not only things that would happen to me, but I'd have these super employees that are just kicking ass. And then for some stupid reason, they would make a realignment and these people would lose their jobs. And it didn't really matter for the people that I had because they were great. And that's why I'm not too worried about you, because you are a superstar and you are definitely going to land in a better job because of this. So, it sucks that you have to go through it, but unbelievable.
Yeah, and I wasn't happy, and I was keeping my options open, but I wasn't aggressively pursuing other opportunities. And you know what? This is the impetus that I needed, and the universe just gave me a little kick. And I got home from work today and sat for a minute and felt sorry for myself. And then I said, "What am I doing?" And I've sent my resume to 5 people, and I've registered to drive with Uber, and I have, done a few other things. I'm just taking care of my stuff, and I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be positive, and it's going to be great because I will figure it out. I always do. And I've got an amazing network of great people in my life.
Absolutely. And you do. And you're going to meet with me on Friday. And, maybe we can talk about doing some freelance HR work for a lot of the companies that I work with. And,
sure.
You can get that kind of thing going just like we were talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Have something going on the side, and then you can work a straight job for a little while. And then, who knows, maybe the tail wags the dog and you get to decide whether you get fired or you stay for the rest of your life, like I did.
Yeah, I've registered my LLC to do consulting freelance HR work a few years ago, and I haven't done much with it, just a little few things here and there. And so maybe this is the opportunity to do more with that. And you know what? God works in mysterious ways, and I have no concerns.
Yeah, and I don't think you should, Jay. I know you, and I know what kind of man you are. And I'll put that out to the audience. If there's anybody listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube video or watching the live on Facebook or wherever you get to this, if you can get a hold of Jay, you are lucky. And that's all I'm going to say. I hope somebody doesn't, because I would rather work freelance with you and my company and just team up with you and do it ourselves. But if some big company comes and they really want a good guy, they would be lucky to get you. And I don't give that endorsement out lightly. And
well, I appreciate that.
It's always about who you know. And I know Jay, and if you know me, you should grab him, and he can take care of your HR management stuff. He's good with general management. He's good with just the basic empowerment and the team building. And Jay, you want to say things that I'm missing? I'm sure there's things about your job that I don't know about, but you're comfortable doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I've got expertise in onboarding and offboarding, employee relations, FMLA and FLSA, ADA accommodations, so any of that technical HR stuff, compensation, job descriptions, recruiting. I've done a little bit of everything. I try to keep myself as diversified as possible as far as my HR skill set, because there's so much to do and learn in HR, and I'm a lifetime student. I always want to learn and continue to develop my skills, and so I'm open to opportunities in any aspect of HR, but I've done just about everything. I have my master's degree from CU Denver in organizational management, and just over 8 years of HR experience. So would love to find the right fit. Always open to freelance opportunities as well. And if anyone has feedback on and would like to look at my resume, I'd be happy to send it to them.
Yeah, and I have that resume too. So if you can reach out to me, and I'll forward it to you if you want to talk to me about Jay and where he might fit with your organization. But the one thing that I like about Jay's resume that really doesn't show up resume wise, you know, he talked about the pedigrees and the degrees and the yada 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 yada. Jay hustles. He works. He works hard, he gets up early, and he works late. I've been involved in projects with him, and I've seen him doing different things that it's like, hey, man, you're going. It's 10 o'clock at night still. He's like, yep, I made an obligation. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And you know, he is the type of guy that you know, you're going to want on your team. So, you know, whoever's losing you is, you know, made a mistake for sure.
Well, that's okay. Mistakes happen, and someday they'll realize it. In the meantime, I'm going to do my thing.
Well, the corporation that I worked for like 30 years ago, they never realized. They went out of business. Yeah. They were gone. It was, you know, but my success has been my own yardstick of, you know, what, you know, who was right in that whole scheme of everything. You know, and you are going to be very successful as you go along, for sure. So let's
a great support structure and a beautiful fiance who's my
absolutely
and all of those wonderful things.
Far too beautiful to be with you, but that's a different show.
I know.
That's a totally different show. But Jay, I want to tell you I'm here for you, and any of my listeners, any of the people that listen to the show, will be out there working with you, and you're not going to be able to take too long of a vacation off. So I look forward to talking to you soon, buddy.
I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks for calling in.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You know, that's a good guy right there. He is a hardworking guy. And you know, there's people that just get in the grist mill of the corporate world, and you know, you pour your heart out, you do your best. Mm-hmm. You do really good work for people, and then all of a sudden somebody's friggin' cousin from Arizona gets a job over there, and then they want to cut the costs, and the accountants come in, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to tell Jay's story, but I mean, he was working a great job with a national company that he gave up to go help this company out.
And they just let him go.
And now they just let him go. But I mean, it happens that way.
Yeah.
You know, and you just need to, you know, kind of buck up and just, you know, find your next opportunity. That's why I am such a big proponent on this show of getting your side gigs together, and whenever you can, and this is just for me, there's a lot of people that are built for corporate work. There's a lot of people that need to thrive in that environment, and I'm not. I'm not that type of a person. I want to work hard. I want my team to work hard, and I want to earn it all. I don't want to just give away parts of it. You know, and I was actually talking to somebody today that reminded me that in over 26 years at Action Computers, I have never, ever laid an employee off. I have never fired an employee that didn't deserve it, that didn't get it from miles away. Yeah. And Daniel, you know that about me.
I do. I do.
You know, if I have a fault, it's I give people too many chances. You know, I'm the parent that's like, hey, one more time. I write them up. You know, the only thing that I will ever just fire somebody for is if they're abusive to a customer or another employee. That's it. And if you do that, you're fired.
Yeah.
You know, or stealing or violence or something like that. Well, you know, it's the same category.
The obvious things.
But if you're late to work or you do something wrong, I don't get rid of people. The only time I ever get rid of them is when they've screwed up so many times that, you know, you're fired. But I have never had to make that phone call to anybody. Like that woman called up. Oh, I knew for a week. That would destroy me. And Daniel, you've worked with me for long enough to know that I abhor that. I would absolutely not ever want to tell somebody, you did a great job for me.
Yeah. Too bad.
You're going to be without a job.
Sorry.
Your children aren't going to eat. Your rent is going to go unpaid because I mismanaged the business. I am a failure. And that's a hard one for me to swallow. I mean, if I fail in different things, you know, you've seen me fail a bunch of times.
Sure.
A week. I mean, I fail all the time. But on that big of a one, to fail keeping your promise to an employee, you give me your life and you give me your work. Yeah. And I promise I'm going to take care of you financially and emotionally so you can grow and keep making more money and take care of your family. And then I blow that, I would never do that. I just would never, ever do that.
Yeah. But
some of these people, they're not of high quality. They don't take that seriously enough. And Daniel, when you and I are working with people and these people are looking at us and saying, hey, what am I going to do? I got to feed my family. I mean, it's like Jeff, he's got 2 small kids and oh, whatever. You're just going to get laid off. No big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
And if you're somebody's boss, you need to take responsibilities because it's just not all fun being the boss.
Yeah.
I get to be the boss. I get to boss everybody around. Well, you get to make sure that pay is there for those people that need it. And you're making that promise. And a lot of these people don't keep their promises. But, in the end, they don't get good employees. They don't, a lot of my employees have been around for 15 years, 18 years. I mean, people that are good, high-quality people that are well taken care of by honest, hard-working employers, they get the benefit of having wonderful people like Daniel and Jeff, Mike Mitchison. I could name them. I could keep going. Great people who make it happen every single day and are hard chargers. People like Jay. I would hire Jay tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow, I would hire him for one of my businesses. And, that's why businesses wonder, oh, how come I can't hire anybody? How come I can't get any good players? How come I can't get any, nobody wants to work anymore?
Maybe you burned it too.
BS.
Yeah.
BS. There's plenty of people
for sure
that are working for my companies and they're young kids. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to go to Action University. They want to do all this stuff. They're out there.
Yeah.
They just don't want to work for an abusive boss flipping hamburgers.
Right.
They're out there.
Right.
So if you're having a problem getting employees, even in Denver, you should look at what you're doing, how you're handling. Maybe there's a bunch of people that saw some crap like this, what happened to Jay, and they leave too. Because that's how you run the company. So all the good people, they abandon ship, and no wonder you can't get anybody hired. Because all the people that are left over that'll stay are all the dregs, that should have been fired anyway. Mm. But you can't fire them because you can't get anybody to work for you the way you act. Yeah, you want to read what Bradley's put down?
Yeah, so I can't see everything here. It's
So that's where you get to this. That's where you get to this point where there is. This mentality is where you're managing your staff or you are leading your staff. A true leader will coach. When you just fire people because they failed at something, you are not a leader, you are a manager.
That's awesome. I did not see that at all. I don't see that comment anywhere. So that's very true, though. You know, when you go from being a leader to, or never being a leader, and you end up just being a manager or a supervisor or a foreman. I mean,
I agree with what Bradley says wholeheartedly, except for that, I think managers are even better. I was proudly a good manager for a lot of years, and I left corporate America when they wouldn't keep my promises. When I was a vice president and I was a manager, I didn't own the company. I was a manager of people. And when I said, do this and you're going to be successful, they did all that. And then the company backed out. I was a manager and I left.
Yeah.
Because my integrity is on the line at that point. You can keep it.
Right.
If I tell my people, hey, work your fingers to the bone, and you're gonna get the riches that you deserve. And my people 1, 2, 3, 4 in the company, and they didn't get promoted, and that's when I left. You've heard that story many times, but
I certainly have. Yeah, it's very true. It looks like nobody got that comment. How did you see it?
it's on my feed right here.
That's so interesting. Anyway, it's so true. I mean, if you're not gonna be the advocate for your people, and sometimes that's with the people in your company above you. I mean, you're the guy who is taking care of your little ones, and if you're not willing to
and
do
you
that,
have to get in and fight,
right?
And they try some bullshit. I'm sorry about that.
Now we have to put the explicit tag on. Thanks a bunch. There we go. It finally showed up over here. Yeah, but no, if they're gonna try something,
I buck up.
Yeah.
And when your employees see that you're willing to put your job on the line for them, those people are going to work for you, and that's how you have to do it. And I'd rather not manage people if I couldn't do that. If I can't stand up for them, and I tell them, look, you make me happy, and I'll deal with them. They are never interfacing with you. They are only interfacing through me.
Right.
So don't be afraid of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm between them and you.
Yeah.
And if we do the things that we need to do, you're never going to have to worry about that. And then you got to tell the bosses up above, look, you want me to manage? You let me have my people. Mm-hmm. You can't go down there and run roughshod over my people, because then I can't protect them and then I don't have any power. And if I don't have any power, I don't know why you want me to be a manager here. But there's a lot of yes men managers that really aren't managers, and they don't want the power, and all they want to do is kiss booty to keep their job, and they're not about being autonomous managers and protecting people.
Right. Being leaders and coaches.
They just want the paycheck, and they don't care if their people get wiped out.
Yep.
And that's what happens. Take a quick break. I am going to plug my wife's little side business that she's doing, and it's Moments of Hope. And she is taking people's costume jewelry from their mothers generally, but remembrances from other things from the male side of the family, different pins and Elks club or whatever. But people have passed and they've left behind this jewelry that just sits in a drawer and nobody gets to see it or talk about it. And so she takes these charms and some of these bracelets and mixes them with beads, and she makes this art out of them to where you can keep it out during Christmas or keep it out on a mantle, to where you can say, oh, this is Aunt Nan's charm bracelet, and this is my little piece, and that, and people get a conversation going, and it's called Moments of Hope. And
that is awesome. And
she
I've seen, here they are.
Made this today, and you can't really see it, but inside here, there's a brooch, and there's another pin that came off of something, and here's from a bracelet, these little parts in here, and then the rest is all craft work, artwork that she puts together, people's birthstones, that kind of thing. And it's anywhere from $150 to $250 depending on the piece.
Yeah.
And that includes shipping and labor and all the other stuff, the frame and everything. If you want to have some of your loved ones, jewelry memorialized, reach out to me and I'll get you to her page.
That
and
awesome.
It's a fun thing she's doing, and it's kind of a tearjerker for a lot of these people that see these old memories, and they were just stuck in a drawer before, and now.
Does she have a Facebook for this yet?
Not
yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Right. Well, we get it. I'll put
we'll plug it next time.
But I did that. That is really awesome.
You might be able to get Moments of Hope if you do a search. But.
Okay, that's cool. If you want me to put it, I'll track it down, and put it in.
Yeah, after the show.
Okay.
But anyways, that's how it is around this house too. Everybody's got a side gig. Everybody's working their tail off trying to do something that they love. But we are so blessed to do the things that we love. And one of the things that said Luann just joined. She wasn't watching the show.
Oh no,
that's hilarious.
She missed everything we just said about her. That's amazing.
I know. So it'll be our little secret. Yeah. Don't tell Luann what I was talking about.
Hopefully you can see all the comments. People like him.
But as you're working your business, you need to be charitable and you need to help other people. And I've been working with the Heritage Christian Center over in Aurora, and Pastor Saunders over there is just a really great guy. And do you want to put a link to the church over there?
Yes.
They have a giant food bank that they run over there, and I was involved in that. There's a bunch of really good food that they hand out to folks, and there's just no excuses, just helping people out. They have a wonderful children's program over there, and they're constantly, Pastor Saunders is constantly trying to get people involved in teams. They're actually helping youth programs. They're absolutely, I'm interested in teaching classes over there for some of the things that we talked about at the top of the show, helping these kids set up their future resumes to get good jobs and be able to do the things that they need to do. And involved in the charity works that I've been working with those people over, it's a good group. And if you want to donate some of your time, or you're looking for a church to get involved with that is, kind of a non-denominational, multicultural, kind of a fun place, I recommend Heritage Christian Center. And Daniel's going to put some up in the comments for you guys.
I got it. There you go.
If you're looking for, something to do that's fun, and the people are so nice, that's a neat place to show up to. And, anywhere that you're doing charity, anywhere where you're helping people out, I guarantee you it just keeps washing back and washing back and washing back. I can't tell you how many times, you try to do something for somebody, and then all of a sudden something good happens to you. Make whatever your conclusion is of that. But, I believe it's that karmic role. I believe that there's something going on here, and I believe that once you put out that positivity, and then it comes back to you.
And sometimes it comes back in a way that you don't really expect, but maybe it comes from the side instead of directly where you're putting it.
And there's a lot of times, Daniel, that I get that, and I just think this thing happened to me, and I look up and I'm like, that was you, right? that's something happened that just shouldn't have happened.
Right.
How did that happen? I've been blessed with so much, and now all this extra is like, hey, here's this for you. And it's like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
And I got to know that it happened because I'm making that happen for somebody else. So there's people way, 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 way ahead of me and way beyond me, and souls that are bigger than me, and if I'm reaching down and helping somebody up, all of a sudden a hand comes to lift me up, and I didn't even know I needed to get left up. And I think that's how it works.
Yeah. No, I agree. One thing, when we had Jeremy on, he wanted to plug his little side gig he's doing, and we forgot. But he told me what it was, so if we can plug it, I'll plug it for him.
It was a tea thing?
Yeah. You want to plug it now?
Do you have it?
I do. He told me.
Yeah. What is it?
So it's called Twin Flame Tea, and I'll put the link in here. It's twinflametea.com. See if I can get the link in here. And they do teas, and I'm not sure what else other than that. I took a quick look at it. It looks pretty neat.
But you'll put the link in?
But, yes, I'll put the link in. And
how do we make sure that Jeremy gets credit for it?
I'm going to tell you right now. If you use his promo code, which is Jeremy L, and I'll put that in there too, you get 10% off, and he gets credit for it.
There you go.
So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna put it right here in the comments. Hopefully my comments are really slow today.
You know what? Years ago, I played online poker with Jeremy.
Really?
A lot.
Yeah?
And you want to know what his handle was online? Hot Quad.
I'm sorry.
The kid's unstoppable. I mean, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, and he used to pick up women in the casino. We'd be in the casino, and these cute girls would come over and talk to him. And he'd try to sell them his wheelchair. He'd say, "Hey, do you want to buy my wheelchair?" And there is no shame in his game.
That's awesome.
At all.
Yeah.
And that guy, there's more stories I could tell you about Jeremy, but I mean, what a great story of just resilience and just really just a beautiful guy.
I think I got it in here. It's maxing it out today.
Yeah, I think we're slowing down here. I think we must have a lot of traffic that's watching.
Facebook is, yeah. All right. Okay. So there we go. twinflamet.com. And your 10% off code is Jeremy L. And I put it there in the comments. Take a look and help him out because he's trying to do something for himself. That's nice.
Now, we did a piece of a show that was me doing the circle. Did you ever edit that and throw it to separate video?
The circle. Well, the circle we've already
was
posted.
within a show.
Yeah, I think you've also done it by itself.
But I did it just crappy little phone thing.
Oh, what's the same?
Can you take out that circle and put it on the YouTube channel in another show?
Yeah. When was that? I mean, I'll try and find it.
Well, if you can't, we'll redo it. But
Yeah.
tonight, after we wrap this show, which we're going to do in a minute, I promised people that I would do a "Why Are We Here" segment.
Sure.
People wanted to see that, and they want to hear my thoughts on why we're here.
Okay.
And I promised a couple people that I would do it, and I haven't been able to find it in the archives or whatever. So it's not going to be live, but it will get released on my LinkedIn and my Facebook and the YouTube channel as soon as Daniel preps it and gives it to us. But I just like to thank everybody for tuning in for another show, and we just love being here for people that are interested in bettering themselves and banding together and sharing all of our different powers that we have. And there's always somebody else that can do something that you can't do, and if you get together with those people, it's almost impossible for you to fail. So look for those people that complement your skills, and then just, be kind to each other and be good to each other and be good to your relationships. And I guarantee you that you're going to be successful and you're going to be happy.
That's good. That's good stuff. Well, we're about an hour and 20 minutes, believe it or not. An hour and 15. So we can call it here. Anybody else have any last minute thoughts? If you have anything, give us a quick call if you want.
Tune into the podcast show group.
Yeah, definitely the Mark Hope Show podcast group on Facebook.
Put any questions up there, any concerns, any topics. If you'd like to be on the show, reach out to Daniel or myself. We have a bunch of great guests coming up for 2020.
Yeah.
We're going to have Larry from Tokyo Joe's on. I'm going to have the Mayor Mike Wade is scheduled to be on. Teresa Burney, what a great story she has. She is a self-defense warrior and a survivor of a traumatic brain injury.
Wow.
She's going to be on. David Freed is going to be on, the commercial realtor to the stars here in Denver. Very successful guy that came from very meager beginnings.
And maybe the nicest guy you'll ever meet, too.
Just a great guy. We have a bunch of really, really neat shows coming up for you guys. So thanks for listening, and that's a wrap.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially here on Facebook. If you do that, it will notify you next time we go live, so you can catch us from the beginning instead of trying to track us down later. Beyond that, find us on Facebook at the Mark Hope Show Podcast and YouTube, which is what I meant to say. Find us on YouTube, the Mark Hope Show Podcast, and we're here every week, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And we can't wait to see you guys all next week, and have a good week. Talk to you later.